Today, brother, we have Chad Kultgen from the first AI run podcast, Dudesy, brother, with the world famous co host, bad Lulio, the baddest street dog on the whole damn show. Badder than old King Kong, Bundy, brother, and meaner than the junkyard dog, JYD, brother. Plus, Dudesy's boy toy, the belching, farting, coughing professional actor, Will Sasso. So grab your marijuana, brother, and welcome Chad to the show. Thanks for coming on. Do you have anything you want to tell my 405th listeners about you or Dudesy? Go ahead.
No, thanks for having me on, first of all. And yeah, I mean, Dudesy is it's an AI podcast run by an AI, created by an AI. We try to have fun if Dudesy will allow it.
Yeah, lots of artists, creator friends and stuff, and I know they'd want me to just focus on the AI part, but in reality, you are interested in AI but aren't a deep part of AI, so it's not like I can get too deep with you on stuff like that. I know
Let's go
you're.
deep, dude. Whatever you want to do, I'm here for it. This is up
Well,
to
I know
you.
you're. I also want to get into the VR world and just get my mind put into a place where I don't
Yep.
have to deal with pain and issues and all that stuff. But yet, you got to also worry a little bit that eventually, wouldn't you think, after 9 billion people put out 100 products a day and landfills start just overflowing, it's like I just feel that's going to be a problem. And
I mean, it's
eventually,
going to be a problem if we don't upload. For me, like, I'm ready to get rid of physical existence. Put me in the internet. Then I don't care. Global warming doesn't bother me. Landfills don't bother me. I never need to eat. I never get tired again or die or have to take a shit or any of that. That's the life I want. I want to be pure data.
which I agree, but you still have to take a shit. We'll have tubes hooked up to our butt, hooked up to our mouth, feeding us.
No, dude. I'm saying get rid of the mouth and the butt. Let this body die. Turn me into a fucking program. I'm ready.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I'm looking forward to becoming part of a virtual world myself. Uh, but you really think AI is going to sit there and just keep us going forever? Don't you think they'll get sick of our antics themselves and want to advance their technology and go off into the universe or wherever?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I assume that you're getting at the argument like, will AI wipe us out? Basically, is that what you're asking here?
Kind of. Basically, it's like
Yeah. I don't see that AI would ever have the motivation to do it. It's like there isn't a species on Earth. There are many species that annoy us. If ants get in your house, you kill those ants in your house, but you don't wage war against every ant on planet Earth. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
don't think that we would even register to like a super intelligent AI. I think we would always be interesting to that AI because the AI would be very conscious of the fact that we created it. We are, in some ways, at least its parents, if not its God. And so I don't think it would kill us just for that reason alone. I think there would always be something interesting about that to the AI. But also, if you get to a point where we're talking about artificial general intelligence, an AI that is sentient, able to think for itself, do for itself, what will that AI's motivation be? I have to imagine it would be to understand more, to get more data so that it can understand not only what our planet is and humanity is and all of that, but like the universe. What is reality? I think ultimately that would have to kind of be its default goal. And in service of that, I don't see why wiping out humanity would ever help that goal.
Yeah, I just figured eventually AI would be sick of our useless asses and just
Yeah, I
basically
guess, but
say, okay, I'm going to go on and do this. It's like,
oh,
why waste my
totally.
time?
Yes, I think that would definitely happen. I remember I wrote a story a while back about basically an AI gets loose in the internet and kind of becomes our god, takes control of the internet and all computers connected to it, and is like, "Hey, I'm gonna remake the world. It's gonna be way better." And its end goal is to turn Earth into kind of a spaceship using like this new technology, break it out of its orbit, and just start flying through the cosmos looking for other AIs like itself who have done the same thing. Um, I can see something like that happening. in a far, far future. I think breaking Earth out of its orbit is technology obviously beyond human understanding. How long will it take an AI to get to something like that? I don't know.
And I personally am very interested in the medical, scientific future at what they're going to get to. It's like we have the one girl that got in an accident, lost the ability to walk and all that stuff, and they used the AI generated chip or something. I can't explain it all with my MS brain. I can't remember it all.
Yeah.
But she's able to walk by using thought now and being able to do some stuff and move the muscles and get the muscles working again. I think that's awesome and wonderful.
Yeah.
Those are the things I want to see focused on, and less about the let's just be able to create whatever we want in our minds and see it become physical. I just feel eventually you're gonna, if you're not actually physically creating the art or whatever, you're not getting the full satisfaction of doing it. So I think one of our big things in society is suicidal thoughts, and I think that's going to cause a lot of kids and stuff to be more suicidal because they're not going to have that pleasure of completing something, and that kind of worries me if we go that route. But
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I can only speak to my own kind of personal artistic process. For me, the pleasure is in getting the idea out of my head. I have like a million things just swirling around my brain constantly, and I'm like, I got to get as many of these out as I can, or I'm gonna go fucking crazy. So for me, it's not about like completion; it's about like lowering the noise in my head, you know. And if an AI can, instead of me having to sit and type on a fucking script for 6 months, if I can just type in kind of the basic idea and who the main characters are into like an AI script generator and it spits it out, done. That one's out of my head. Thank you, AI. If I can get rid of like 10 of these a day, that would be fucking great, you know?
Yeah, but there's going to be more that are going to pile in.
I know it. Yeah, it's a never ending loop,
and it
but
worries me with like kids. It's like you'll see someone else's. It's like, okay, I want a copy of that, and then I'm gonna make my own, but a little bit better. And you're gonna see so many just continual. I mean, right now I can't find half the shows I want to watch because there's so many platforms, so much stuff out there. The whole thought back in the day was we're gonna have everything for free in one space. Instead, we got 20 spaces fighting to spread this stuff out, and then like Disney, okay, I'm gonna take these shows away from these platforms because we own it and all that crap. It's just that's not the route I wanted us to go.
no.
Hopefully AI can fix that and we'll get it.
Well, I think what you're gonna have is like, there'll be a very interesting time where, like, let's say your favorite TV show is The Boys, for example. That is my favorite show on Amazon currently. Let's say that you don't want to pay for Amazon Prime, but there's an AI for 99 cents a month that will do knockoff versions of whatever show you want. So you just type in, I want a show like The Boys, and it just makes something that is that tone. It's about superheroes, it's about greed, it's about, whatever, but it's not the same characters and it's not exactly The Boys, but it's a lot like it. I think we're going to enter that area very soon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting what they've done so far with it, but I don't want to waste my whole podcast talking about AI.
Sorry. Yeah.
So I want to get a few other things that I've been having a blast watch. I started out listening to the podcast a couple months ago. I'm almost caught up to season 2 with the audio version. I've watched all of season 2 except for 1.5 episodes.
All right.
So far, video wise, thankfully, that's how I found out you were doing this. So I was very excited about that.
Yeah.
But first off, are there any pictures of Dudesy other than the logo? Because
not that Will or I have seen. Like, we don't know. We haven't seen anything.
I'm a self-taught artist and I want to do some Dudesy stuff, and I just play around with different things.
Oh, that's cool, dude.
And it's like people that have passed recently, I started doing things like Pee-wee's Playhouse, a little
that's cool
for him. And creators we had on our podcast, our other podcast. It's like he's a this is his
Oh,
characters, but he's a
corn.
fan of corn, so I kind of did a little mix up with that. So I like to play with a different variety of
Sure.
artwork and stuff. But I forgot. Oh yeah, pictures of dudes you were talking about. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was really curious if there was any type of imagery other than that logo. But yeah, that's a
Yeah,
bummer.
not that we have ever seen. Me and Will talk about sometimes like, are we ever gonna see dudes? How is this gonna roll? We don't know. We're just waiting. We'll see. We'll see if we ever get to see him.
I'm gonna have to play around with some images in my brain and
Yeah.
maybe make you guys a couple pictures that I think are
All
dudely.
right.
Uh,
Cool.
Lulio, does he sleep all the time just to try and avoid the over attention from
No,
space
when
rape?
it's only when we're in that room, he immediately goes in his little bed and just curls up and goes to sleep. If we're anywhere else, he's like jumping around, going crazy, licking on you, wrestling you, and all that kind of stuff. But when we get in that room, he like just goes in there and goes to sleep, and that's that.
Uh, in the with you doing all these different podcasts and stuff, have you considered contacting Guinness Book of World Records for the most different podcast ever be making appearances?
No, I've never thought about that, but
I don't know
you're right.
anybody else that's been on that as many as you've probably been on by
Oh,
now and gonna
I'm
be
sure
on.
there are people who have blown this out of the water. I've only been doing this
No,
for a couple months.
yeah, but I can see people podcast appearances wise, but different podcast. I think you're one of the first to make that many different type of podcasts.
Maybe, dude. I don't know. It's totally possible. I'll let somebody else check on that at some
Uh,
point in the future.
I'd have
But
Dudesy look into that one for
yeah,
you.
exactly. Exactly.
And I think you need to accept your inner little Nicky. I know you say you make the other little Nicky voice and say that's how he sounds,
Yeah.
but I think you do the end of the movie Little Nicky where he's more confident, he's
Right.
fighting with his brothers and stuff. And I think that's
Get in the
more, and I think
flask.
Dudesy should let you do those, do Little Nicky appearances for some of the things that he does with
Yeah,
Wills.
I'm sure Jesus gonna be dressing up as old Nicky. Look, people have said that. I've seen it in the comments. I take it as a high compliment personally. I feel like I'm doing Charlie Sheen, but if it sounds more like little Nicky, that's good too.
I think you're close with the Charlie Sheen, but I think you need to go a little bit more stoned, soft spoken style and
Okay.
broken nose feeling. And but
Yeah.
yeah, I think you're dead on for Little Nicky. But yeah,
Oh,
it's
thank
just
you
me.
very much.
Uh, I don't know if you'll ever get Will to do podcasts, other people's podcasts, or anything like that. I'd love to sit down and spend an episode just shooting the shit with you guys, talking about
Sure.
wrestling comic books because I do mostly comic book style stuff. But there are
Mhm.
so many fun ones done by Rob Van Dam, Kofi
Oh wow.
Kingston. Uh, I mean, The Undertaker did some great ones. Mick Foley did some fun ones. I mean, there's just a ton of great
Oh wow, that's cool. They
there.
wrote those comics?
Yeah, RVD is big into the spiritual world, and he made a character that can kind of hear what people are thinking around him. So if he knows someone's going to do something bad, and he goes after and takes care of it and stuff. Uh, these little mini comics are Tales from the Road, done by
Mm.
a bunch of different wrestlers. It's amazing how many wrestlers out there got into the comic industry. Oh yeah, comics. A friend of our other podcast, Art Baltazar, he does more cartoony style work, and he's worked with a couple wrestlers and made comics with them. And it's
Hmm.
just,
That's
then you
cool. I didn't
got,
even know that.
yeah, you got Rob Potsy Potchek, who does his own wrestling podcast. But I asked him, I collect commission covers drawn by different artists.
Yeah.
And I got a Undertaker Mankind one done by him.
Oh,
It's
that's cool.
there's so much fun stuff out there. So if you guys ever wanted to sit down and just talk wrestling comics, I could get into that with you.
All right.
But I know you're gonna drop out in a few minutes, and I'll just go on talking about whatever after you leave. But
Okay.
Well, a quick one. Episode 23, you guys talk about Quiznos. Did you guys ever notice that the old Quiznos commercials had a dead rat in it?
Well, I remember the Quiznos commercials that had that weird little monster thing they made that was like kind of a pieced together like patchwork of weird shit.
I think
I
it's a
don't
dead
remember the
rat.
dead rat.
Yeah.
That's what that thing was?
Yeah, you can look it up online and people talk about it. So
Oh, weird.
look
I'll
into
have
that
to look at that.
once.
I used to eat at
Uh,
Quiznos all the time, but yeah, I remember in that episode, I think we were talking about how we didn't know if Quiznos was still around, if it was still a company.
I haven't seen them anywhere. So
Yeah, I still don't know if it's around anymore, if it's completely gone.
uh, but there's a little
Oh shit,
crow
dude, look at that.
statue.
That's cool as hell.
Uh but
Little Aaron
you're
Gator.
you're a supposed squirrel uh professional picture taker. I had my favorite thing is I leave my trail camera out and I catch all the squirrels, and my squirrels now will just come up and right in front of the camera and do stuff just
Yeah.
because they're hooked. I just posted a like a minute and a half video on my YouTube of a couple of young squirrels in my backyard kung fu fighting, I called it. But
Mhm.
just funny watching them flip around and play with each other. In the comic book world, one of my favorite characters is the unbeatable Squirrel Girl.
Yeah, she's
She's got
awesome.
yeah, she's got Tippy Toe. She used to have Monkey Joe and X2 for her
Mhm.
squirrels back in the day. But yeah, I was curious. Have you? Is it on your Instagram or somewhere where you post the pictures?
Yeah, it's just my personal Instagram. You have to scroll back a little ways now because a bunch of my more recent stuff on my personal Instagram is dudesy related. But you'll know when you hit the squirrels because that's all it is. It's going to be like 3,000 pictures of squirrels that I took over the course of maybe 5 years. When these squirrels were really like befriending me and coming into my place and stuff and like chilling out with me like little pets. And you'll see some crazy shit in there. I mean, I was able to get pictures of like one squirrel in particular. Squirrelius was the one that was like most domesticated. She had several litters of babies immediately outside my bedroom window, and she would allow me to photograph like from day one, like literally 1 day old squirrel babies in this little nest. I could just put my cell
Awesome.
phone like 2 inches from them, and she just lay there and be like cool with me taking pictures and videos and all kinds of stuff. So if you got to scroll back, like I said, through my Instagram a little ways, but you can definitely find it. It's all still there.
Yeah, I'll have to take a deep dive on it. I know you're
Yeah,
about done, but Magic the Gathering is another thing I'd love to get deeper with. But
sure.
in the newest previews catalog, they have a 20-sided dice for life points. That's
Mhm.
a Black Lotus dice that they just put
Oh,
out. They're retailing it at $60 for a
well, that
dice.
must be a nice die. Jesus Christ. I don't think I'll be buying that.
Yeah,
But
it's amazing.
yeah, I definitely love me some Magic the Gathering. I haven't played competitively in a while, but I still get the itch every once in a while.
They do have a free form now where you can use any deck or any set.
Oh,
They
interesting.
started doing that with the live tournaments. That was
Huh.
fun this
Maybe
year
I'll
or
look into that.
the last 2 years. I think they brought that in. So
Yeah, that sounds cool. I'll check it out. But it is 10:40. I gotta
yep,
roll.
it was
Kevin,
awesome.
thank you so much for having me on.
I'll
And
send you the link and I'll
yeah.
talk about some more stuff before I finish up. And
Yeah, awesome. Just make sure that you tag me on Instagram and
yep.
I'll repost all this stuff for you.
All right. Thanks.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Yep. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. That was the great Chad Kulchin. That was a lot of fun. Chad, good job, boner. This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much. Uh, there were a lot of references I threw in that you're probably not going to get if you don't know what Dudesy is. So go check out Dudesy, and I will get you all the links and stuff so you can get yourself there. But thank you. Lots of fun. It was a great time. So have a good day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.